All right, people, welcome to the podcast BTS Uncut. It's a Paragon podcast. So this is the show. The podcast is called Behind the Scenes, and already it's your boy Frost. Today I have with me Zanny. I don't know. I'm just getting into this one because I'm sure everyone knows Zanny from this show already. So I'm not even going to talk about it too much. So this show was unscripted. So we just sit over here and chop it up as usual. You know how we go. But this is called behind the scenes. So the stuff you don't see, on mainstream, this is where you get to find it, So Zanny, we're about to begin. Get your headphones from the side, put it on, and you can leave one side open.
Okay.
So that you can follow up with us on this one. I'm recording behind me over here.
Okay.
And we're clean. So for people that don't know, Zanny, he's a Nigerian artist based in the United States, specifically Oklahoma City, and I've known Zanny for a minute. But he goes by the name of Zanny G. So Zanny, he's a recording artist. Zanny, do you want to tell us, like, our fans on the podcast a little bit, something they don't know about you?
Hey,
just
okay.
chop it up real quick. I don't have time for all that formal introduction and shit. Like, just let people know. People that know nothing about you, the people that just come into the show.
Okay, my name is Zanny G. I'm an artist. I do Afrobeat and I do American rap. I stay in Oklahoma City, United States. I've been here I came here in 2012, and then I've been here ever since. I started my music career fully back in 2014. When I really fell in love with music, and I took it really serious then, and I started doing a lot of music and doing more sound check on myself, and I started doing a different type of music, started getting better, way better, doing a lot of videos. I got a bunch of videos out. Like I said, first of all, I stay in the United States. I stay in Oklahoma City. I'm from Nigeria. You guys can check me out. Zanny G is my name.
At Zanny G, that's all they need to know. At Zanny G. So basically, Zanny G does Afro music, and he also does hip hop. So he blends this stuff together. We'll be out here cooking, and we're at Paragon Sound. The recording studio and the podcast studio. You already know. This show is called Behind the Scenes, and I'm your host Frost. I'm a recording artist too, and I'm a director of film. It's a fancy way, as I always say it. It's a
Paragon.
It's a fancy way of saying I make movies, but this is where everything happens. This is where everything goes down. Forgive me for looking over in this direction. We got the Zanny's phone over here. He's going live with his people, so just tune in and see what we got going. It's behind the scenes. It's a show we just talking about the hardship, the struggles, everything. The sweat and the blood, the time you put into this craft. So me and Zanny will be talking about a few things over here, because there's something I want this show to help someone. I just don't want it to be out here doing nothing. You feel me, Zanny?
Right.
Like, I just don't want us to be out here talking and wasting our time. So like, if we get something, let's put out something that's gonna help someone.
Okay.
So I'll jump right into it. Like, the only thing that gets both of us over here is music.
Mm-hmm.
How long have you been into this shit?
Music, I started when I was 14. Well, I really started when I was 14. I started liking it when I was like 12.
Yeah.
But when I was 14, I really started getting into it. I did my first track, Jammy C. Then I was still back in Nigeria, Lagos, first track, my two estates. My first show event that they brought me out in, I was literally 15 years old. It was a carnival that was filled with maybe like 10,000 people.
Yeah.
That was my first performance. I loved it, and then since then I really fell in love with music. But in 2014, I started putting a lot of time into it and stuff. So now I started doing different music. I branched from my music culture to a different music culture as well, where I can blend my music with hip hop music and also do hip hop on the side, sound the hip hop way.
So
and
when you
also
talk
sound
about
the
blending
African
your
way.
music you're talking about is the African genre, like the Afro pop.
Afrobeat, yeah. Afrobeat.
What part of Nigeria are you from?
Lagos, Nigeria.
I don't know if I mentioned he's a Nigerian. I mentioned already he's a Nigerian artist. So, his thing, the punch to his music, because you want to be special. One of the special things about him is he can blend the Afro and the hip hop together and make it even sound even better. So I've known Zanny for a while, so I'm not even trying. Like, I've done some music with him, some stuff at TZ Panchak's event. We were out there performing. That stuff was lit. Like, now I know we had a crazy part of it, but I mean, no one's gonna talk
We
about
killed
that.
the show. The show was fire.
Yeah,
We killed the
so
show.
I like it. I like the energy the youngins put in and all of that. So, you know, that's all. That's all I want to talk about the show. Now, for music, how far have you come? Like, how far do you plan to go? Well, let me start with how far you've come.
I mean, I'm still pushing. I'll put it that way. I'm way better now, though. Here in Oklahoma, a lot of people know me in Oklahoma, and they know me based on my video qualities and my music. I performed everywhere here in Oklahoma City, and I literally go there and perform my African music. You know what I'm saying? And then also I blend my American music with it. So if I'm performing, I perform my American music and I perform my African music along with it. So, I catch the both crowd, where I can catch the both vibe. I can vibe to this and vibe to that because I got both styles.
There's this thing where people think you are supposed to belong to a certain genre or a certain, like you're supposed to have a certain identity. Now that's gonna conflict with the way you do your music. What do you say about that? Like, let me say it again.
That's real because
No,
I've had that question.
Like, a lot of people say the reason why I'm saying so is because now normally I don't believe in stuff like that, right? But I want to see your own perspective even before telling you what my perspective is.
People have asked me what kind of music, because you do American music and also you do Afrobeat. So what kind of, like, what part are you? I stay in my I'm African. I'm born and raised in Africa, okay?
Yeah.
So I am African, I'm Afrobeat. So yeah, but I am also a hip hop artist.
Yeah.
I rap, and I'm good with it. So, I can also stay in that lane and claim it too. But, if we're talking about just claim one, I'm Afrobeat. I'm not switching from that.
And if okay, now I was asking that to tell you my own perspective. To me, I think music is music. Like, you just gotta listen to what someone puts out there, and if it's something that you relate to, right, you relate to it, and you keep jamming to it, and back to back.
Yeah.
If it's something you don't relate to, you just keep it right over, and someone else is gonna relate to it. So to me, if you ask my personal opinion on this show, I think to be an artist, it don't mean you have to belong in a specific genre. It don't mean you have to you don't mean you have to sound exactly the same. I think personally, I think people should have their own style. Whatever your style want to be, that's who it represents.
That's who you represent.
That's who you represent, because you don't want to represent someone else. Now, this is the point. I walk in the studio with a lot of kids, right? Mm-hmm. And they pull up and they go, well, Afrobeat is what's selling right now.
Yeah, you can't copy Afrobeat.
Give me a second. And they go, Afrobeat is what's selling right now. True, right? Mm-hmm. Afrobeat might be selling right now. They're even trying to add it as a category into the Grammys, right? Afrobeat.
Wow.
So the thing is, everyone now, all of these artists think, okay, the Afrobeat is the way to go. But I think music is whatever's easy for you to write.
Is whatever easy
As
for
a
you.
hip hop artist, this guy he can spit on the verse. Like, but then he keeps trying to write Afro that don't even sit with him, because of the fact that Afro is selling. Like, I think you should be. I'm saying this to say that
that's crazy.
You should be yourself.
Be yourself.
Be your authentic self.
Mm-hmm.
And if your authentic self is Busta Rhymes, that's who you should be, because that's the only way you can stay consistent.
Yeah.
Because I've seen people write 1 or 2 Afro songs or get 1 or 2 Afro songs from someone.
Mm-hmm.
Put that song together and then put it out there, and right after that they don't put anything else.
That's crazy. So
I just, from my own point of view, I'm saying that to say the music should drive you to write what you have to write. I don't think now you should, as you say, you should have a major genre, because someone's always gonna ask, what kind of music do you do?
Yeah, I get that, because reason why I do both music is because this is what happened. My first 2 shows in Oklahoma City, I performed at Queen of Sheba first. It was a big event. It was a comedy show. Some celebrity came. I can't really remember his name. It was a lot of people. So I came out to perform my African show, African self. Yeah, it was the American promoter, right?
Yeah.
And he was like, I love your music. I love your Afrobeat, even though I don't hear what you're saying, but I can catch the vibe. I can vibe with it, and I'm pretty much sure if I can vibe with it, somebody
Some
else
other
can.
person can
Yeah,
vibe with
you
it.
know what I'm saying. So we can get it, So we can get you to the show to perform and stuff like that if you want. I was like, hell yeah, I want to perform. So I went to the show, perform, speak my little African thing, blah blah blah, and then I got bottled waters thrown on me.
Oh
No
my.
cap, no cap. Them dudes like, what the fuck, this and that. Like, I was like,
Where was that show? Oklahoma City?
yeah, Oklahoma City. And then, one funny thing about it was, I didn't even take it offensive because I continued performing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm dedicated to my music. You might be mad. You paid to come here to look
Yeah,
at me.
you paid. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't come here to.
That's some wild
because
stuff,
it's
though.
a get fit for every one of you guys watching, or every one of you guys sitting here, for this event.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just performing. I'm an artist trying to blow up. And then I'm just performing, I understand we got a little language barrier over here. I'm from Africa, I'm doing my African music. And then you don't feel the vibe just because you don't feel the vibe doesn't mean every other person does. So don't bring the energy.
Was it on that same show someone told you they like your music?
Yeah. I mean, I got a lot of people that like my music and they congratulate me after the show and all that stuff.
That's the thing about American concerts. Like, they don't, when they pay for a show, they want a show.
Oh yeah.
That's why after the last event we kept saying, well, it didn't look like much of a show, because when people pay for a show, they've seen those music, like they've seen that music on YouTube already, the video and everything. They don't want you on stage walking around with the microphone and doing like really nothing about it.
Exactly.
Like, we want a show, like show us something we didn't see on the last show, because this is the point. Artists perform every night from one show to the other. I think if they go about doing the same set, it's gonna start getting boring.
Yeah.
That's the truth about it. It's gonna start getting boring. So for that reason, people want a show. Like, people want you to go out there and put something like, so I mean, and that's what I haven't seen with music nowadays, because over here people just go on stage, get a microphone and say something
and do whatever they want to do.
yeah, so it's crazy. Anyway, right over here, it's 1:06 a.m. in the morning, and we're out here chopping it up on Behind the Scenes. It's your host Frost, and I'm out here with Zanny G, a recording artist from Nigeria, and he resides in Oklahoma City. So we're out here on our first episode, kicking it, chopping it up, putting information out there for people that like entertainment and music. You keep my eyes keep going back and forth because I'm out here studying everything.
Turn the table around like say we decide.
Z.
Hey.
What's your process of recording music? How do you do it? Do you get in the studio and write this stuff out, and do you write? Well, I've worked with you. I'm asking this for the fans. Some of this stuff I know already because it's a song I did with Zanny. Well, fuck it. I'm not even gonna ask him to write. So, this is what happened. At this time, we're recording at Adams, right? It's called Creaky Floor Studio. So we pull up to the studio. I've written something on a piece of paper. I scribbled up something. I can't remember, but I try to write some stuff that makes sense before I go to the studio. So Zanny came to the studio. Whatever energy he put on that, he started on that song. It sounded very different from what I did, right? So he's over there. Adam goes, well, I don't know if it's me or Adam. Someone goes, do you have your stuff ready? And Zanny looks at us like side by side and it's like, oh no, we're just gonna do it. I'm like, okay. It's like, how are we gonna freestyle it? I'm like, okay. And with Adams, we get to punch in. So Zanny gets to punch in several times, and we did the song. It's called Right With It.
Right With It.
The song is lit. But the point I'm making is, we record, the song is freestyle. That's the energy we got on that day. And when he did that stuff, when he did his verse and it's freestyle, I decided to discard what I have. Like, whatever I had on the phone, I've written on the phone, I just put it all together away and, I started vibing with it. But that's when I've worked with Rave the Dreamer like that before. And he's one of the kids too. When I go to the studio with him, he starts saying something. The 20 minutes he takes to record his verse, that's when I come up with some information. I still end up writing anyway, but I write fast. But for you just punch in. I had to get that information out there because I thought that it was wild. Because the song is lit. It's a club favorite. Like, it hasn't been released yet officially. And I'm sure Americans are going to love it a whole lot. It's called Right With It. but the thing is, we recorded the stuff, the whole thing freestyle, and that's the way I like to do music because it's somehow authentic. Like, this is what we've always said we learned. Get in the studio, have enough time to sit and write your songs over there, restructure them as opposed to writing stuff on a piece of paper, running into the studio, and you figure out, oh, the cadence don't sit the way it's supposed to be now, you don't have enough time. So, but now, that I had to get that off my chest. What's your process of making music?
Okay, my process of making music, it just depends on my mood. Sometimes I might write. It just depends on how the song goes or how the beat sounds. It could be an easy beat where I know I won't have to do a lot of writing, and then I could just say the words instead of actually writing it. I could just get to the mic and freestyle it, and then I'll punch in and punch out. So when I punch in and punch out, that means I'll say the words one by one where I can get it to make sense together.
And when he talks about punching in and out, for people that are not music fans, like he would record a little bit, a little part of it, a little part of it, a little part of it, and sooner than later you're on the second verse and then you clear out the last chorus. And a lot of American artists to record like that, like the reason I was asking you how your process of creating music is because different people do it differently.
Ways.
And there are some people now. Music to most people come as talent. There are other people that really work so hard for it. I can listen to these kids or this guy's lyric, and I can tell this guy he's been writing this lyric for so long, and it's not even still sounding like music. But you can listen to another guy's line and figure out this motherfucker just came up with that shit and it sounds good already. Like, what are we doing? So some of it is talent, but I was over here with Coach earlier, Coach Chappell. He said hard work is always gonna beat talent. Hard work is gonna beat talent. So if there's someone that's trying so hard to scribble stuff but tries hard every day, it's gonna be better than someone that comes up with stuff every 30 seconds and then comes out with it every year. So hard work's always gonna beat talent, but there are people that have talent in this stuff, and those are the people that just that's where the music is, because for most people they think it's easy until when you
actually get to the studio. So basically, sometimes I can be in the studio. I'll listen to the beat. Whenever I listen to the beat, I work a lot more with American producers. Reason why is because I do American music. So with that, I can get my feet on my American style. You know what I'm saying? And then I can get my feet on my African style. Because whenever I do my American music, or let me put that aside. Whenever I do my African music, I have to send that back to Africa for mixing and mastering. But whenever I do my American music, I don't have to send it nowhere.
I'm out here in the studio with Zanny. We're out here on the Paragon podcast, behind the scenes, and it's behind the scenes. So that's why you see me out here doing my Snapchat on the show itself, because it's a place where we can relax, we can talk about, you don't feel being interviewed. That's my idea. Like, because every time you go to an interview, it's a lot of people out there. You don't want to get in trouble by saying some stuff that's gonna hurt your career. But over here, you're permitted
certain questions that trigger certain things.
Yeah, it's uncut. This is an uncut show, so we're just saying everything out here.
What's up? What's up? Nice boys. Thank you. Appreciate it. Tanika, appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, Tamika said we got nice voices. Yeah, that's great. Now let's get back to the podcast and everything. The first question I asked was your process of getting this music together, and you've given me that already. And even I was just asking that for asking sake, because I figured out you're more freestyle and just punch your stuff in. So when it comes to making music, I know it's really hard. How do you get your funding for this? Are you signed?
No, I'm not. I've not been signed at all. So what I do is this. When I really got serious with music back in 2014, I started. I work regular job. I had 2 jobs. I worked like all day, every day, just to what I'm saying, so I can get my funds to pay for my video shoot, for my studio section and all that stuff, outfit that I'll be wearing.
I bet everyone
pay for the models.
I bet everyone works every day.
Pay for the models, pay for literally everything. It do cost a lot, for the video shoot, I gotta pay for the engineers in Africa for mixing and mastering.
Yeah.
It gotta come sound good. If it doesn't sound good, whatever, I have to pay again for them to mix and master again. And if I have to take it to a different producer because I didn't like that producer, fuck it up, or I don't like whatever I did, and he's probably not listening to me. I have to pay another producer big sum of money for them to redo it again, and it's just
That's the
bunch
thing.
of
That's the thing about being a independent artist.
yeah.
It's crazy being an independent artist because you get to sit out here paying for promotion yourself. I was saying this on the episode of Rave the Dreamer. Paying for an episode yourself, be it the
That's
episode
not
of
easy.
paying for recording yourself, promoting yourself and
Yeah,
everything.
video shoot. It's not
And at
easy.
the end of the day, I said you still don't get any money
Mhm.
from it anyway, but it's just the passion for it. So being an independent artist is one of the most difficult things you can always,
Yeah.
try and come up with. But how do you promote yourself? You're still independent artist, so you have to promote yourself. Like
Yeah.
for people watching, what are you gonna say? Like, how do you become an artist? Like now,
I mean,
like the process of becoming an artist, because some people watching out there that they want to become artists. They have little brothers that want to become artists. When I mean artists, I mean professionally, because
professional. Okay.
I see you doing some numbers. I'm not saying they're very dangerous numbers, but it's hard to see people out here that get paid from streaming. Like, you got some streaming numbers.
Yeah.
It's not the biggest streaming numbers we've seen, but it's some streaming numbers. It's a lot of us out there that don't even have streaming platforms.
At all.
So that's why I'm saying, how do you become an artist?
So what I did is, like I said, I have to learn. So me being African, I'm performing African music in American for American audience,
Yeah.
and then with everything that I've got back from it, backlash, good, and all the extra stuff, I jumped into the culture of the American hip hop. So where I can blend with both people, so I don't look dumb when I'm doing my thing, where everybody can vibe with me because I can perform American music and African music. So I learned from the American producers, artists, good artists, big ones, and little ones that I know, whatever. How 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 the process in the music goes.
Yeah.
In Africa, you don't know that. In Africa, you have to wait for somebody to sign you, and if they sign you, they pay you whatever they want to pay you, which they don't pay you much. And it could be a lot to you over there in Africa, but it's really not a lot. They'll put you in a little house, buy you a little car, and all that extra stuff, but that is not really taking you nowhere because you probably making way more money than that, and then they taking everything. So with the American culture, if you want to be independent, you learn how to be independent. Then you learn how to put your own music out. You learn what companies you're supposed to go through. You learn strategies of how to promote your own music. So like strategies like you utilize the social media.
Let's start with the companies, right?
Mm-hmm.
What platforms are you supposed to be registered to as an artist to begin professionally?
As an artist, to begin professionally, first of all, register your name.
Okay.
If you register your name, you register that on ASCAP.
Okay.
That's the first thing to be a professional artist. If you're still doing it for regular day, if you're still doing it for regular day, that is fine. But if you want to be professional with it and want to take it next level, you got to register your name first with ASCAP. So to stamp you as the artist, and you're the only person with that name, and then you want to start putting your music out.
So as an artist, first thing, register your name as
an artist,
as an artist on
as an
ASCAP.
independent artist.
Yeah. Okay. And go ahead.
And then after that, obviously you go to the studio, you get your song done, and then you want to start putting it out. And he said, then there's another process itself. So you whatever company you want to choose that you.
What companies do you distribute with?
I personally, I distribute with 3 companies. I distribute with a company in Ghana. I distribute with DistroKid, and I also distribute with United Masters.
United Masters. Well, DistroKid is kind of a standard, because DistroKid, for people that don't know about DistroKid, it's a platform that distributes to a lot of other platforms. Like you just upload one time over there, and it's gonna upload to.
They like the big company.
Yeah,
for
Spotify,
all
iTunes,
yeah.
and all the rest something, and even YouTube too. because they be putting
Oh, they put it on YouTube
topics on YouTube all the time. So DistroKid's great. So you want to register on ASCAP and you want to have at least DistroKid,
or whatever
United Masters or whoever distributes for you, because you need distribution. All right, people, welcome back to Behind the Scenes. It's a Paragon podcast. I'm your guy Frost already, and I'm out here chopping it with Zanny. Before we left, we're talking about promotion. And Zanny said you got to put your music out there. We all agreed you have to put your music out there, because no matter how much talent you have, if you don't find a way to put it out on some platform somehow, no one's gonna see the songs. I work with a lot of kids and they've got talent, and I see people out there that put professional songs and they're making a lot of money and they don't have half the talent these guys have. So that's why I think sometimes promotion too is everything. That's why I'm talking about it over here. Like, we started talking about promotion, but let's just take a recap and kick it all over. For you to promote your songs, what platforms do you have to use? Well, you said you use DistroKid and all of that. How else do you promote your song? Because we talk about DistroKid, we talked about United Masters. That one's easy. Those are platforms you can Google online and do. What are the little tips and tricks? What do you do to get your song to a place where other people don't have?
Okay, this is what I do whenever I drop my song from DistroKid or United Master or from iVibes, which is the Ghanaian distribution company that I also use. I use a different strategic to get the music to be heard from people, because if you drop your song with like DistroKid, United Masters, and all that stuff, they don't promote it. What they do is they put it on all the platforms, so automatically it should be out there for the audience to get.
See.
Yeah. So whenever somebody type a name that probably look like your name or alphabet that got your name in it, yours is gonna also pop up and all that stuff. But if you want it to be heard and in a different ways or different places, what I do, I promote myself. So basically, I use my face on everything I promote. So social media is one thing that I utilize a lot. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Those are something that I utilize a lot for promotion. Most especially Facebook. Facebook, I do a lot of promotion on there. So whenever I drop my music video or maybe audio music, whatnot, I go on there and I promote my music. Then I probably start a challenge. Then I do a lot of videos of myself, singing to my song and promoting it and all that extra stuff. I utilize Instagram as well. Instagram is another big platform to be, to help promote the music. I also use influencers, which is also a big part in the game. If you can get influencers.
Nigeria has a lot of influencers, though. A lot of them.
Yeah. If you can get influencers, I'm not talking about artists. You want to get influencers that are not in your kind of industry.
Yeah.
Because those are the ones that are really gonna get you in that industry up. Because they can get people from their industry
to get to your industry.
So you don't wanna ever use influencers that is already in your industry. You wanna use influencers that is not in your industry, because you can get more of your audience to get to listen to your music. So comedians is a good way to start. You can these people require money. You pay them some certain fees and they help you promote it on their platform, and then that will really take your music somewhere, because it helps you make money from your distribution platform. So whenever you drop your music, all these companies drop it out for you. People start listening to it because of the strategy you have put together to promote it. Then your music start growing, the numbers start growing.
Yeah, hold this. Can you get me some pictures from there?
The numbers on your listening, it start growing, and then you get paid from that. But if you don't have the numbers from like the listening platform, if you don't have the numbers from like the listening platform, you don't get paid. But you put in money and you're not getting nothing back. Yeah. So you want to put like you want to make it. It's a hard work. I would say it's a full-time job, because you have to do a lot of thinking. You have to.
That's why I asked, because it's no one specific way to do this
Yeah.
promotion thing, because you go out there, you see a lot of ways to do it, but you've got to put in your work and your energy. You got to see which way works for you better.
Yeah.
And somehow, some way, someone always gets there. A kid always ends up blowing up or something ends up happening.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it happens on
someone,
social media.
yeah.
You could do a trick, like you see everybody blow up on like a dance move, or some little
like
stuff. You know,
there's no formula.
There's
to
no
this thing, is
formula
what I
to
always
it,
tell people.
but as long as you're doing it yourself, you put in your actual truth in it,
Yeah.
it will come to it will come to pass. It's just it's just you that determines where you go, basically.
What artists do you listen to anyway?
I mean, I listen to everybody. I listen to everybody. Mostly I listen to music that vibes. I don't like music that you go crazy and all that extra stuff. I like music that vibes, where it's solo. I can get, I can hear everything they're saying. You know what I'm saying? Because with that, inspirations comes too. Because wordings, and it just depends on the music you listen to at the same time. But
Yeah.
I love to listen to solo music, something that chill vibe, where I can chill.
Of course.
But I also do chill music and I also do crazy music. But I'm just the type of artist. But what I listen to is very, very solo, chill vibe.
Yeah, me as an artist, I like music with instruments. I like, as you said, I like lyrics that you can relate to. You can talk about. Someone can ask you what these lyrics mean, and you can be able to tell them. But I want to be able to tell a story in all of my songs. Is what I always try to do and strive to do. But today we're talking about you, and we're gonna keep this going. And what projects do you have coming up? Is there any major projects you have coming up, or major projects you've done? What major projects have you done, and which major projects do you have coming up?
I've dropped 2 tracks in the past 2-3 months, and I have another track that I'm dropping with. I did a feature with T Classy. He's a Nigerian artist, pretty known out there.
Yeah, we spoke about T Classy on the
Yeah.
previous show.
Yeah, I was supposed to drop the music last month, but I decided not to drop it because I wanted the strategic for the promotion to be a very big one. So basically, I want to invest a lot into it, so where the music will actually blow up.
Of
So
course.
I decided to hold back a little bit and start, keep working and keep, doing other stuff. And then whenever I'm super ready, then I invest in it and I focus on it.
That's what's up. And where do you see yourself in the next coming years in this music thing? Let me say 2, 3, 5 years.
I see myself where I want to be.
And where's
Right
that
now, right now, I'm just chilling. That's why that's why I'm putting my strategics together. That's why.
He does
That's
with the
why.
vibe. He does with the vibe.
That's why you don't see me on everywhere
we
like
want to hit
doing.
that right.
I mean, I'm just chilling because I've got a lot of people that have told me ways. I know celebrities.
Yeah.
I know regular people. I know people with money. I know this and that. I can utilize all those people for benefits for my music career.
Are you utilizing them already?
Oh yeah, I am utilizing them. I've just not really showed nothing to the world
Yeah.
of what I'm doing.
The last time we spoke, you said you don't like putting all of your stuff out there. It's called see finish. Can you tell me a little bit about it?
In Nigeria, we call it see finish. See finish is when somebody see you, and then they can tell your story. If I can see you based on the way you just spoke, and then based on the way you're looking, based on the way you start, I can tell your story. I can tell where you're from, what you do, what you could be doing, this and that. It's just instincts of.
Because we're saying it in relation to your artist should not put a lot of work out there without.
You don't want to put a lot of work out there. That's what I'm trying to get to also.
Yeah.
You don't want to put a lot of work of what you have done out there basically because you're not a celebrity. Even celebrities do not put all their work out there.
All right, people, we're back to this, and this is behind the scenes BTS. I'm out here with Zanny. you'll be seeing Zanny on this show at least a whole lot because we'll be working together on a lot of projects coming up. So, we're gonna chop this up, wrap it up real quick so I can let Zanny go. Right now we're talking, it's like 15 minutes until 2 o'clock.
Yes.
That's how we roll out here behind the scenes. The whole city is asleep, but we ride down almost at the center of downtown, midtown, kicking it real hard at Paragon Sound. So come over here and get your recording done. Right here we're at Paragon Sound Studios. You know how we kick it down.
Hell yeah.
Okay, let's get something totally out of the box. What's your preferences? White, black?
I don't have a preference.
You don't want to sound racist a little bit.
I'm not a racist. I mean, I don't have a preference. I like everybody. Equally.
Like everybody? If you're going to have a girlfriend, is it going to be...
I go by heart.
You go by heart?
Yeah, but...
Isn't that just a classic cliche?
Not just that though. I go by heart, but more specifically...
What does that mean? Classy what? Is that the mentality?
Wait. I'm over here on the podcast. What are you doing? I'm recording.
Nah, so you think I did no still shoot you, eh?
And you know the funny thing, Zanny? I'm gonna leave this part in the podcast so people are gonna I was trying. She's out here trying to take pictures. I'm pretty sure she didn't even understand what I said. But anyway, let's get this going. So, anyway, that was just by the way. So, for people out there, what do you want to tell people that are trying to get into music? Like, what advice would you give to them?
I mean, if you're trying to get into music just because you're trying to get into it, I would advise not to, because you're just gonna waste a lot of time, because it consumes time, it consumes money, it consumes dedication. But if you're if you have the talent for music, then you want to pursue it, and then because your talent can take you places, it just depends on how you utilize it. If you utilize your talent right, and what you're utilizing it for is what you got a talent for, and you're making sure, thanks, and you're making sure you're doing the right thing, meeting the right people, and having getting advice from the right people, whatnot, it's gonna take you places. But if you're trying to get into it because somebody else is, or because you think somebody else's music is nice and you want to sound like them, or you want to do something like that, that will not really take you far, because then you're wasting a lot of time that you can be
time and energy.
But for new artists that are coming up, that are real artists, I tell you, put a lot of work into yourself, most especially yourself. If you put a lot of work into yourself, that's how you get seen by other people. Because if you love yourself, then other people love you. If you don't love yourself or love your music because you get criticism, or somebody say, oh, then you're not really gonna get so far, because you have to get that to get somewhere.
It's always critics everywhere, bro. It's always critics. It's always a nice time chopping it out with you over here, Zanny.
Appreciate it.
This episode, we just had to put this together so we could get the podcast going. But you're gonna be seeing us over here in the studio a whole lot, and I'm gonna leave Zanny's information. Put Zanny's information below. For those watching this on YouTube, this is the Paragon podcast, and it's behind the scenes. This is where we gotta talk. It's uncut. This is where you
uncut.
We get a curse and we leave that stuff right in here because that's how we feel. It's unscripted. We just saying this stuff. So, thanks for watching, and as usual, it's your boy Frost. I'll see you guys on the next episode.
Peace.